No, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna have 1, 2, 3. We're gonna have a minute of just photos over what I was just saying. Listen, America. I don't know if you know this, but every time that you take a step on the asphalt and on the pavement, you're taking a step forwards in motion and in time. And you can't go backwards in time, America. And you can't take back the step that you took going forward. When you step in a little bit of shit on the ground and it smears into your boot, and then it releases its pungent odor because the shit had previously hardened, well, that's like what you're doing every single moment of your life that you are deciding to wake up and get out of bed. You could be spending your whole life dreaming. You could be spending your whole life asleep, and you could make reality your own. And yet you get up every day, and you put on your little slippers, and you step out onto the cold tiles of your house, and you step on a little bit of shit, and you smear it around everywhere you go. Every day you do this. And you choose to do this. And why is that? That's something I want to talk to you about, America, is why do we choose every day to get up out of bed and walk around in a world of fucking filth? Why is it that we decide we want to be part of this when we could just be sitting in bed dreaming all day? Listen, I think it's quite simple. The water fountains don't work in this country. And I think that's really all I have to say. See this? This writes itself. I don't even need to make commentary. Commentary's already been made by your mind observing this video through your eyeballs, which you were given. Privileged little eyeballs that you were given because you were born into this nation that is currently on its way to destroying the entire planet Earth. Or is it? When's the last time that you dreamed about the Earth ending? Studies show that 15% of Americans dream about the apocalypse at least once a month. 7.5% say they dream about it once per week. 35% of surveyed Americans in the last year have expressed that they believe reality itself will collapse within the next 5 minutes. Think about that. Those are troubling numbers. Or are they? Maybe we can do better. Maybe we can get to the point where every single American believes there will be nothing to wake up to tomorrow. You'll open your eyes waking up from bed, and your eyes won't be open. You'll look around your room, and you won't be looking. And you know why that is? Because there will be no you to be looking. Because there will be no looking to be you. It's simple. You haven't woken up yet. So why aren't you waking up? It's because you're spending your life in a dream on purpose. Because you're afraid of stepping in shit. The shit that you put on your floor every single day. Like landmines that you forgot you even put there. Next thing you know, your entire house is made of shit. You can't open the door without squishing it a little bit into your hand in a very, very disgusting feeling. So why did you do this to yourself? Why did you wake up and make so much shit? Look at that monument. What does that mean to you? I don't know. I'm not you. But I do know that you decided to wake up this morning. And I want to be clear here. Morning does not mean when the sun is rising, or when the dawn chorus is singing, or when the solar rays are burning our outer atmosphere, producing radio waves that are also referred to as a dawn chorus. Morning is when you wake up. I'm no prescriptivist. Actually, I think that if you're a prescriptivist, you were born evil. That's a little bit of humor for you folks. You smell that? No, I'm not talking about here in sunny, springy DC. I'm talking about right now, wherever you are. Do you smell that? That shit that you put there. Hang on, I'm going to ride my bicycle out of here. Notice how I'm pedaling, and yet I'm going nowhere? That probably feels like a lot of you, America. Did you know that in a recent survey, 75% Americans feel like they're pedaling, but they're going nowhere? That's right. Right now, I represent 75% of Americans. That's 3 in 4. 3 in 4 Americans feel like they cannot go anywhere despite how much effort they put into moving forwards. Taking a step. What's the deal with that? Taking a step implies making a motion, and yet you're still in place? Or is it that you just believe that you're in place? Either way, it sounds like you haven't woken up yet and gotten out of bed. What I'm saying is we're all trapped inside of a dream, some kind of crystallized reality, which doesn't really mean anything, and as soon as you wake up, you forget it. And yet people will turn their heads and people will sneeze. Why is that? I don't get it. I don't get why people sneeze every time they look at me. I think it's a disgusting display, expelling all of the horrible ejaculate that is inside of their lungs, their nostrils, their sinuses, and other horribly, horribly wet cavities that are inside their body. I think the people should stop sneezing at me. I think it's offensive, and it's simple as that. All I'm saying is that I think that people need to be a little bit more like squirrels, because I think that the squirrel has it figured out. People take the squirrel as a simple arboreal mammal, when in reality it actually typically subsists off of trash and filth that humans leave behind. The squirrels in my yard have become more intelligent over time. You may have been noticing the same thing if you live anywhere with squirrels, which, according to a recent survey, is 75% of Americans. That's right. 3 in 4 Americans recognize squirrels. And the squirrels have been getting craftier. I saw one turn a doorknob. Straight up turn a doorknob. Person's house was locked, the squirrel didn't get in, but I saw it do it. I actually think it's only a matter of time before they're getting into cars, possibly driving them without a license. And that's the thing. If you don't have a license, you can't get anywhere. And the squirrels are smart enough to figure that out. So why haven't we figured that out? We're trying to take a step forward, but we can't even wake up because we don't even have a license to go anywhere. And that's why I think we should be more like the squirrels. We should be getting craftier, and we should be shoveling shit off the ground and putting it into our mouths, like the disgusting animals that we are, subsisting off the filth that others leave behind. I think it's as simple as that. If you want to live, you have to eat, shit, and then die. Because that's what life ultimately is. Eating, shitting, and dying. Take a look at this monument, for example. What does that mean to you? I don't know what it means to you, because I'm not you. But you know, a really interesting thing about monuments is that they are symbols, is that they're metaphors. Except they're metaphors made manifest in brick and blood. I get bricked up by the thought of blood. And I think that the architects that made this did too. And we could learn something about that. Did you know that there's no reason that you can't just stop in the middle of a crosswalk as long as you have the go sign? You're allowed to do it. There's nothing that says that you can't be doing what I'm doing right now. And yet it bothers people. It bothers people a lot to just stand out in the middle of the street. They get freaked out by it. You got to think about these things. You know, about a decade and a half ago, Tumblr started using the word liminal space to describe spaces that are meant to only be passed through and not be spent time having in. And, well, nowadays, everybody does this whole back rooms. Ooh, back rooms. Ooh, back rooms. Ooh, I'm in the back rooms right now. Listen to me. You were born in the back rooms. What is this? Look at this. What is this? What is this? Tell me, what is this? I'm confused and I'm lost. What is this? See? You look like a fucking idiot. It's that simple. And now I'd like you to take a look at this monument. And I'd like you to tell me what it means to you. Actually, I'm not listening. I'm in a video. You fucking idiot. And people will turn their heads and they'll sneeze at me. Anyway, I'd like you to take a look at this monument, and I'd like you to tell me what it means to you. Actually, I think that you should write it down on a piece of paper, and that you should fold the paper up 16 times. Do you know why you should do that? It's because if you fold a piece of paper 16 times in half, people will turn their heads and look at you. And I think that's really interesting. People get scared when they say that something is being recorded, and yet they'll sneeze if you tell them that they're being recorded all the time. I once took a photo of someone, and you know what they told me? They said, "No, delete that." Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me? You lived that moment. If you don't like how you looked, I've got bad news for you, buddy. You look like that all the time. Like, you know, I don't mean to be any kind of way. But, you know, on one hand, you have immortal infrastructures like this memorial here. And then on the other hand, you have horrible decaying human flesh and people sneezing. And I mean, ultimately, what can you do about it? You're alive, and you're dying, and you're shitting, and you're eating, because that's what being alive is. An immortal brick structure like this doesn't do any of those things. It's perfect. You could take a photo of it, and it'll look exactly the same. In 1776, when this memorial was originally built, Thomas Jefferson took a photo of it on his camera. And you know what he did? 100 years later, he took a photo of this memorial again, and it looked exactly the same. And he remarked, "I think this is the perfect body." Scientists now understand that he just had gender dysphoria, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Because he's dead. This memorial isn't. And I think that's what's beautiful. The memorial doesn't die, but we do. And we turn our heads and we sneeze. And I think that's interesting. I would fuck that thing if I could. I'm going to be honest. I would fuck that thing if I could. But I can't. Because I have a mortal body. Because I am flesh and blood and little parts that keep falling off every single day. Before coming out here, DC, America, I got out of bed. I stopped dreaming to get out of bed. I destroyed an entire reality to get out of bed. And when I rolled out of bed, I realized one of my toes was missing. I kid you not, America. One of my toes was missing. And I think that toe might now live on as this memorial right here. I think it's actually very likely that this memorial did not exist until minutes ago when I first saw it. I think I invented a series of memories that this memorial has existed the entire time. But if I told you that in person, you would turn your head at me and you would sneeze. I'm not calling you a sniveling pig or anything like that. I'm just saying you probably would sneeze because it would be so shocking to hear the truth. That I dreamed this thing up. Listen to me. I'm making a goddamn fool of myself. I think if you want to really think about it in a thinking kind of way, in the simplest way possible, all you really have to do is close your eyes and just understand that this thing was built brick by people who don't give a fuck. Basically, every single person who put down these bricks doesn't give one single fuck. And you know why that is? Because they're skeletons, you idiot. They're skeletons. What's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? You little freak, you inside that little what are you? Is that a phone? You looking at me through a phone? Bitch, use a fucking TV at least. Come on. 21st century. It's all in the cloud. I once tried to purchase a new computer from a computer store. They told me they don't sell those anymore. It's all in the cloud, he said. I looked at him confused and I said, I don't understand. What do you mean it's all in the cloud? And he looked at me like I was fucking stupid. And he pulled down his pants. And underneath his pants was an overcast day. Everything was gray. The sun was reflecting off a piece of chrome on a crashed car in the woods. All the metal had rusted, but the chrome shone on. Whoever originally crashed into that ditch long since rotted away. No, they were not a skeleton. They were nothing. But the chrome shone on. And then he pulled his pants back up and he told me, "So you gonna buy a computer or what?" And I looked at him again quizzically and I asked, "What do you mean?" And then he gestured towards the monument. And he said, "Could you tell me what this means to you?" And I simply told him, "No, I cannot." And once again, he looked at me like I was fucking stupid. And in that moment, I was enlightened. I understood. I could not tell him what this monument meant to me, just as no one who built it could tell us what it meant to them. Because their horrible, putrid, little rotting bodies couldn't stand the test of time like this beautiful monument. The same way that PCs of today can't stand the test of time, your GPU fails, your CPU overheats, your motherboard needs to be replaced for USB 3.0 5 gigabytes per second transfer speed. But the cloud is eternal. The cloud will compute everything, folks. The cloud will fix all of our problems. They're putting thinking machines in the cloud, and the cloud is thinking new machines for us. You know, a really interesting thing about clouds is that you can ride them and you can see all sorts of interesting things. Take, for example, these tourists looking at this monument. What do you think this monument means to them? And that's why I think that we really need to think about what it means when we push buttons. A wise man once said, "A sword can kill people, but a microphone looks a little bit like a penis." And I actually think he's incorrect, because things go into a microphone, but things don't go into a penis. Now, I'd like to talk to you about the concept of sounding. Sounding is when you take a rod-shaped object, such as this giant memorial right here, and you place it down into your urethra for sexual pleasure. A lot of people would think that that's disgusting or uncomfortable, but actually, if you ease into it, it's very easy to do and very safe. A lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions about what it means to do this kind of act, and I actually think it can expand your horizons a little bit. And I think that you can come to understand that life is not as simple as you think it is, and that there are certain things that you don't allow yourself to enjoy because you have preconceived notions about what's icky and yucky and what is good and clean. And I have bad news for you. Your whole body is icky and yucky. Your whole body is icky and yucky. There is no saving it from the icky and yucky. You walk around in clothes to try to protect yourself from the icky and yucky around you. But I have bad news for you. You are the icky and yucky. Your clothes are actually being sandwiched between the icky and yucky of the world and the icky and yucky of your icky and yucky body. And you can't do anything to escape that fact. Unlike this memorial here, which has stood the test of time and will never be icky and yucky no matter how many bird poo-poo on it. And I think that's kind of amazing. We just build shit like this like we don't give a fuck. I'm talking about the icky and yucky. I'm talking about the fact that my body is a disgusting offense to everything around it. I'm talking about the fact that when I touch my cat, she immediately cleans herself because she understands the implicit truth that my body is disgusting and is a problem. I'm talking about the way that people turn their heads and sneeze at me anytime I open my horrible mouth full of saliva that's filled with millions of bacteria. One time I tripped and fell down 16 flights of stairs. I'm not kidding. I was at a young age, so my body was able to take the pain. But all of the things that came out of me by the time I hit the bottom of those stairs were very icky and yucky. to the point where no one wanted to treat me. Everyone around me was sitting in a circle looking at my horrible, frail, icky, and yucky body, and they were looking at all of the things oozing outside of my horrible, decaying body that could never stand the test of time. And they understood that even at the young age of a child, that my body could not last that long in a grand scheme of things, especially when you compare it to a memorial such as this one, that has stood the test of time for tens of thousands of years. A little known fact, America, is the fact that this country was founded around that big old pencil back there. That's right, Abraham Lincoln found it himself, and he placed the rest of America around it. And that's our founding story. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? What's the next lyric?
What so proudly we hail.
I don't like that lyric. Can we change that one? What's a tasteful angle to hold a microphone at? Does anyone know? Does anyone know a tasteful angle to hold a microphone at? I'm not sure if anyone's ever held a microphone for me before. Look, all I'm saying is that the national monuments represent something that our bodies can never hope to achieve. And I think that we shouldn't be okay with it, but not in like a motivational way where we can change the world. I mean, it's just disgusting that we're humans. I mean, it's disgusting that we're not monuments. I think it's pathetic that we can't be a gigantic stone man that's 50 feet tall and sits on a chair all day. I think it's horrible that we have to eat, sleep, and shit. That Lincoln statue doesn't need to do any of those things. Sorry. Some kind of small snake just flew into my mouth. It's still there. I don't know what to do about it, actually. I don't want to put my fingers in my mouth because I've been outside, but like, there's something wriggling around in my mouth. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's really weird. I don't like that feeling. Oh my god. I have an animal in my body, and I think it's a tapeworm. I think I have a tapeworm in my... I think a tapeworm just flew into my mouth, DC. I think you just watched live a tapeworm fly into my mouth. I think right now in the nation's capital, you just watched a tapeworm fly into my mouth. I'm not lying, America. I think a tapeworm just flew into my mouth in the capital of this fucking country. I think a... I don't know what's wrong with my body, and I think that I might be dying. If I am, I would just like this video to be proof that one time I did live. In a way, if you think about it, photographs and videos are kind of an immortalization of the self. I think that there is nothing more bold and exciting than being captured into digital mediums which could be transferred to decades upon decades into the future. Generations upon generations, seeing my horrible, wriggling form decaying live in a video, represented at a creamy... What FPS are we at?
60.
Represented at a creamy 60 frames per second of decay and rot for your own very eyes. I don't think anything can top that. I think it's as simple as when you... And I'm pedaling, but I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm pedaling, but I'm not getting anywhere. 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 I'm pedaling, and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm pedaling, but 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 I'm not getting anywhere. I'm pedaling, I'm pedaling, but I'm not getting anywhere. Recent surveys show that 3/4 of Americans feel like no matter how hard they try, they can't get anywhere in life. I wish I could eat cigarettes. I smelled a cigarette just then, and I really wish that I could just bite into one and chew it. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't even a bit for the video. I really wish that I could just chew a cigarette right now. If I found a cigarette butt on the ground, I would pick it up and I would start chewing on it right now. I'm not even kidding. I used to smoke cigarettes. That's just a fact. I would pick it up and I would chew on it. Edit that one out. That's just, I just wanted to get that off my chest. That made me want to just chew on a cigarette. Just like this gigantic monument over here, which is shaped like a cigarette with a point on it. It's almost like someone put the damn thing in a pencil sharpener. Stupid! You're supposed to chew on it. Fucking idiot. They taste sweet when you chew on them, actually. It's really interesting. You would think it would just taste like paper and like leaves, but it's actually like a nice sweet flavor. If you're a smoker or a vapor or anything, I encourage you to right now, at this point in the video, pause it and just take out a cigarette. I'm not even fucking kidding. Just chew on the end a little bit. Not the filter end, the end with like the cigarette yum-yums. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding, America. If you come to DC and you see things like the monuments, I want you to just pick cigarette butts off the ground and pop them in your mouth. They're really yummy. And at this point, you probably already caught COVID, so it doesn't really matter. When I was born, they pulled me out of the womb and they tried to hit me with hammers. I'm not gonna lie. They knew. They knew what was gonna happen if they let me live. They knew. Oh my god. I'm sorry that they didn't get me. They couldn't squish me with hammers. Is this the part where I'm supposed to flash the camera? Am I supposed to like get like a really quick like pull my cock out in the nation's capital, just like get a quick one in, you know? Is that I was reading the Wikipedia page about performance art, and the first guy that they talked about was a guy who put staples in his ball sack in a park. And all I'm saying is, if that's the first thing Wikipedia is going to recommend to me, it's going to put some weird ideas in my head about what performance art is. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're one of the people managing that Wikipedia page, change it. Put someone else at the top. I don't like that. It makes me want to do wild things that I think would be really bad. Don't do that. Don't do that. It would be really funny. I think it would be some comedians consider killing yourself on live television to be the ultimate joke. However, none of them have done it yet. Oh, what is this? A cookie. Just kidding, America. The only cookie here is the wealth of the nation that's being gobbled up by the cookie monster in the White House. Am I right, folks? That's topical. Hey. Cut that one out. Don't include that. Don't include that. If you include that, someone should tweet it, and then you should remove that after. Oh, wait, we don't tweet anymore. Remove the part where I said tweet. We're not supposed to be tweeting anymore. I deleted my Twitter, I promise. It already sucked before Musk got it anyway. Why were you still on? Why were you still on Twitter? Okay, listen. All the people that quit because of Musk, it sucked before then too. What's wrong with you? Okay, well look. Okay, this is the part we're gonna cut to this, and it's gonna be like a really nice ending. And if you're wondering what the moral of the story is, I think it's simply this. If you're ever in public and you really have to piss, just wet yourself. It's not illegal. That's all, folks.